Can't say I'm surprised. We're crying out for consistency, and I've clocked it, guys. I have clocked it. We are consistent. We are consistent at being inconsistent. Welcome back to Behind the Dugouts, guys, for your match review. Chelsea 1, Sunderland 2. Yes, that's right. We lost. Another game that proved we have inconsistent player performances, inconsistent manager performance, and we got found out again. And I have to give props to Sunderland because I can't say that this was charity FC. We do know we love to hand out presents and give freebies to any team that's struggling, but Sunderland, they're in a good position, level with us on points, or at least they were level with us. And they're playing some good football and they're going toe to toe with, a lot of the Premier League's best. And today, they were class across the pitch, all over. And they played in a different way than I expected them to play, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a low block. They were going to try and soak up as much pressure as possible and just try and hit us on the break. But they didn't. From minute one, they came at us. And as the game went on, they did try and, go into a sort of low block, but it wasn't from the off. They were going at us from the game. They were creating chances. They were causing us problems. And our first goal was on a counter. And we'll get more into detail on, the game performance shortly, but there were so many players for our team, for Chelsea. The performance was so poor. And once again, we have shown that we can't be consistent. You can't go and smack up Ajax 5-1 midweek and then produce that kind of performance 3 or 4 days later. It was night and day. I mean, the passing was sloppy. It was all over the place. It looked like we couldn't string any chemistry. The players looked like they hadn't even played any games together. The countless wasted crosses in the box today. Oh my days. All to the back post. Nobody there. Just floating in the box. There's no speed. There's no intensity on the cross. It's just flying. Everybody's just watching it go over their heads. So many. I mean, I think we put in about 11 crosses and none of them were completed. It wasn't good. And yes, I'm disappointed. I am disappointed. And I was doing a little live stream over on the Blue Clouds Media with Mo and Nee, and we were talking about, if we draw, be disappointed. Of course we're going to be disappointed, but I'm more disappointed in the result, but in the performance itself. Like, the performance was poor. And we're going to get into a few players in particular. But look, starting off with the first half. First 5 minutes, a little bit under the cosh. We were stringing some stuff. They were stringing some stuff. Got an early goal. Garnacho, superb finish. Great little play. What we want to see from him. It was really, really good start. You can't have a better start than that. Then it just nothing. No intensity to go out and get that second goal. No cohesion in the way that we were playing. No control. As I said, the crosses were all over the place, wayward passes, the amount of times we gave away the ball, ridiculous. And we just never built on that early goal. And we allowed Sunderland back into the game. And they got more confident and they were attacking us more. And, they got their reward. They did score. We went 1-1. Then it sort of leveled out. First half, we've sort of finished level. We were having chances. They were having chances. But there was nothing of real importance was made after our first goal went in. No clear-cut opportunity. Half-time comes, they go in. We're sitting there going, we've had a great start. It's a bit toe-to-toe at the moment, but we've got options on the bench. There's enough in the team to kick on from here, go into that second half and produce something. Nope. No, there wasn't. Second half started, same stuff. Pointless crosses into the box. Can't seem to string too much together. Wayward passes, giving the ball away, defensively looking suspect, apart from one player. And I'm going to do a little new segment in this video. It's going to be fraud watch and spotlight. I'll pick a few players who had a poor performance and give a spotlight to one individual who I think deserves it for this game. And it was difficult, but there was definitely one for me that stood out. But it just wasn't looking good. And Maresca made some really early changes. Garnacho comes off 55th minute. Esteval comes on. Happy Esteval's coming on. Do I think Garnacho should have come off? No, I think there were a few other players that were struggling a lot more and that were a lot worse than what Garnacho was. And they managed to remain on the pitch for a bit longer. But Garnacho comes off, Esteval comes onto the pitch, and you think, okay, look, he's going to inject something. There's going to be a bit of a change. And he come on and he injected a little bit. But apart from the rest of the team around him, nothing really changed. It was still the same recycled rubbish. Obviously, Sunderland then started to sit in that low block and we couldn't penetrate them. Same old story with Chelsea in a low block. Can't get through. Esteval had a really early chance, got deflected, went out for a corner. But other than that, not much to be done. But they were sitting in that low block. Crosses were coming in, nobody's there. João Pedro might as well have not been on the pitch today, to be honest. Mark Gue, another one. Again, we talk about the young players and young players are inconsistent and we're going to expect it. You know, he scores against Ajax today, non-existent. A poor performance across the board. His first touch was poor. His little, setbacks, trying to get other people involved. They were going off and bouncing, going all the way back to the left back or being given away to Sunderland. He just couldn't get involved in the game. We concede the second. But before we concede the second goal, there was a decision that Maresca made, which for me was the reason why that second goal happened. Taking Josh off that pitch, and there were a few big challenges on him, but to me, he looked fine. He was moving freely. I didn't see any indication of him wanting to come off. It could have been a precautionary thing from Maresca, but for me, there was no need to take Josh off that pitch. He had locked down their striker. Out of the two between Josh and Trevor, he was the better on the day and was sweeping up and saving us so many times in that game. The moment he took Josh off, the defence just opened up. And we had two centre-backs on their striker who was holding the ball, having a cup of tea, dancing around in that centre spot, waiting for somebody to, join the play. Little pass off and they scored a second. It's 2-1, 93rd minute, game over. We ain't doing nothing. But that comes down to the decision to bring Tosin on because his body position, the way that he approached that play, not engaging, just holding the player there. There's two of you. There's two of you around that ball. One of you needs to win that ball and not allow him just to stand there and do whatever he wants and give him all the time in the world to set that ball back for that second goal. And that's when I question the manager's decision to bring Josh off. And I get if it's, due to preventing a potential injury, I get that we've gone through loads of injuries at the moment. I do get that. Right? But these players aren't made of paper, aren't made of cheese. They're not just going to fall apart. At least I hope they're not going to fall apart after every challenge. For me, it's like we weren't even aggressive enough. Our players are too nice. And how do we, try and strike fear into other teams? Oh, if you kick one of our players, we have to be precautionary, so we're going to bring them off. That doesn't strike fear into anybody. That means we can get stuck into your players. And if we show that we might, they might be a little bit injured, you're just going to take them off. And, if that was the case, again, I haven't seen anything on it. But for me, Josh should have never left that pitch. And we're here again talking about an inconsistent Chelsea. And yes, we've, won the last 4. We were on a good run. We could have made it 5. We didn't. Now we've gone back to square one. We've got to restart and kick on again against Wolves. But we needed the form. We needed the consistency to take us through this month because we've got some tough games coming up. And again, is it down to young players? Is it down to managerial decisions? Probably a bit of both. But the inconsistency shines through again, and we're here. We're disappointed after another game. I'm not losing my head. I can be disappointed after a bad result because it was a bad result. And there's things that we need to improve on. But I can't sit here anymore and go, look, we need to show consistency because it's just something that we cannot produce right now. And I'm going to need my manager to, again, rectify these individual errors that he's making with his substitutions to try and prevent these results from happening. But we move on. Got to move past this game now. We've got to be looking at Wolves. We've got hopefully Liam Delap coming back, which is going to be a breath of fresh air. And that leads me into my fraud watch section. So for me today, 2 players are going in fraud watch. One of them, and it pains me to do this for him because he was a shining light during the Club World Cup. He was a shining light, even up to the start of the season. But it's gone on too many games now. And a few weeks ago, I was sort of taking off the blame of him a little bit because he's not really been helped and he's having to do a lot of work himself, especially because of the red cards. But today and in the previous, the previous Premier League game, he has struggled. He's struggled to get involved. He's not shooting. He's not scoring. He's not creating. And that's João Pedro. He's going in my fraud watch today. And there needs to be some serious questions. I think with Liam Delap coming back, it couldn't have come at a better time because I think João Pedro may need some time out the team for a little bit just to re-find himself. Because we know he's a good player. We know. And also what's got me thinking on João Pedro a little bit is it another similar case to Nicholas Jackson where when Cole Palmer plays, Nicholas Jackson looked amazing because Palmer was creating his chances left, right and centre. But when he wasn't playing, Nicholas Jackson was awful. Is João Pedro, suffering from the same problem? Without Palmer, he's not good. With Palmer, he looks great. Unfortunately, we're going to be without Palmer for a long time. So he's going to have to get out of that one. Second player in fraud watch, Trevor Chalobah. We can argue with Tosun because he was at fault. Played a big part in that second goal today. But I think Trevor has now produced a couple of games now where he's been poor. And he's making some really silly mistakes and causing us a lot of problems. I mean, the set pieces, he doesn't look comfortable defending. Long throws doesn't look comfortable. He's giving the ball away quite often. Another player that is looking a bit inconsistent, and he is the more experienced head in that back line, which is not good. So it's another player that we need to be looking at. But then people that we're replacing on are just as inconsistent as he is, which is the problem. Leading into my spotlight player, the player that I actually think could walk away from this game with his head held high, and that's Josh Achimpong. I thought today he was brilliant in every area. He was mopping up everything. He was driving the ball out. He looked comfortable. He looked like the senior centre-back in that back line today. And for me, he has been our best defender this season in that centre-back role. And he walks away, and he should walk away with his head held high. And if he was taken off for precautionary reasons or that he may be picking up an injury, I hope that it's nothing because I need him playing week in, week out right now. But look, I've rambled on, guys. That is all from me. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if there's any players that you think needs to be in the fraud watch or someone that you want to shine a spotlight on. Drop it in the comments below. But for now, guys, if you are enjoying this content, smash up the likes, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you all in the next one.